Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel on another update video. You can see I've been busy. I picked up some 022 switches. There's two here and two over there. I've serviced all of them. Oiled, greased them, resoldered that thing that always breaks them for the anti-derailer thing, the solder joint. I ran all the feeder wires for all three lines, and on these the center rail is insulated on both of them. I've wired this one straight to power right now, and this one's currently dead. I'm going to use it as storage because right now I just don't know where I'm going to put the switches, either right here or over there on the control panel. Same thing with over here. This outside line is hot and this center line's dead. These end up being a pain to get installed and working, just because they're old and worn. I used a newcomer, that 2025 up there for testing, and it made it around 3 laps and then just started derailing and derailed and derailed and derailed and derailed. And I couldn't figure it out, and finally what I realized is apparently there are two types of front pilot truck for those. The 675 is like a cast piece, and the 2025 has like a stamped steel piece. I don't know if it's just my example or if this is a common problem or what, because I've never really had any of their K4 type locomotives. I had one years ago. But what was going on is, as it's coming around this corner, if you went slow, the see here, the pilot truck would catch right here and would ride up and just follow the other curve and derail itself. So it took me a while to figure that out. It doesn't happen at speed though. If you're just trying to crawl around, there's no issue, but what did I say? If you're going at speed, there's no issue, but if you're trying to crawl around, it'll catch. The 675 with the cast, or with the cast front pilot truck, it don't have the same issue. It'll go over them at any speed, but the one with the stamped pilot truck, it just likes to catch. If this is wore out, this one's not. It doesn't have that. Seem to have that issue here. That one is, and it just catches. And the other problem I was having is if they were running this going this way, is I actually had a different 022 switch here, and the rivet must have come loose because what this was doing was teeter-tottering back and forth. So as the locomotive was coming over, the front drive wheels would hit this, or hit the start of the frog, and it would pop up this end, and it would just like create like a little ramp to run it off. So it took me a while to figure that out, probably longer than it should have, but you know, you get tired. That one I didn't have any issues with. This one I didn't have any issues with. That one there, when I first put it in, it kept wanting to switch to this line right here. So the auto anti-derailing feature, whatever, it was malfunctioning, and this is on me. I took the base plate off and the solder joint when I resoldered it, because they're always broke. I left a little bit of a blob on there, and that one doesn't have the fish paper to insulate it, and it was touching the base plate and putting some pressure on it. So that was easy enough to fix. I just filed it down and put a little piece of tape over it, and it stopped. So it doesn't always lock into position though, so I got this here running right here for now. Oh yes. Build a control panel, bench thing, call it whatever, but it's obviously very stout. I also got my very first ZW, so I'm very excited about this. This is the controller or transformer that I put way too much money on, that I mentioned in the last video. And luckily it didn't run up to my max bid. My mistake was I went on eBay and I just typed in ZW, and I was looking for one that ended on payday, so newly listed. So I didn't bother to shop around, and I bid on the first one I saw that looked like it was in good shape. And I actually put an okay bid in, and then went back, got excited about the owning of ZW, so I went back and put more money on it. And if I bothered to shop around for even a second or put any kind of thought into it at all, I would have realized that these are on eBay all the time, buy it now for a lot less than I put on it. So my mistake. Luckily, it didn't go up too high. Did pay more than I probably should have, but it is in really nice shape, and it's got reproduction bulb covers and a brand new cable cord on the back. So that's money. So it's not like I completely wasted it. So all in all, I did all right. You can see I made this bench kind of large because I think my thought process is I'd like to run 2 ZWs at some point in time. So these two would power these two out mains, and the one here would power the inside loop and the flyer loop if I ever get around to that. And then these would be like constant power to the O22s and accessories. So I think that's my plan. I did want to go with modern power because a part of me is kind of worried about like running these newer locomotives with the electronics inside, about like derailing and shorting them out. I know there's aftermarket solutions like little breakers you can put on the outside, so that's a possibility. And I looked at the newer ZW, but I decided I didn't want to pay that much right now. And this is mostly a post-war layout anyway. Plus, I've just never had a ZW. So, even if I swap out later, I mean, I still get to have my own ZW. So I'm really excited about that. I never had one. My dad had one he bought in the 90s. I have just always loved that thing. So here in a minute I'm going to crawl up on this table and move some of this stuff down so I can move it under the bench, and probably grab that crane in that 1615 and put it over there for like a little maintenance of way siding or something. I think that's what you'd call that. But here in a minute I'll run some trains and get that on camera. But I think that's all I've done for now. I think the next thing I'm going to do is get some little constant voltage plugs for the O22s. And I want to get an O42 switch, the manual switch, and put it like right in here with another little siding going off here. And I want to put a operating milk car there. And because that's my favorite line accessory, I want it front and center so I can play with it. So I just want it like right up in here so I can actually get to it easy. I think that's what I want to do. I also want to put another O22 right here and have it coming off and join into here. That way if I wanted to, I could like run trains from there to there here. It's something I probably never really used, but I think it'd be cool to have here, and plus I could have like a couple more sidings coming off. I don't want to go completely spaghetti bowl in this thing, but I do want to get that whole post-war thing going on. And another thing I realized is in the last video I mentioned the flyer loop I wanted to put on the trestle, and I went back and watched my first video and realized I've never actually mentioned the flyer loop. I must have thought I did. Once again, I'm usually working on this thing like right after work or in the middle of the night when I'm tired. But my goal was, with the original idea of the running O72 around the room, was when I got that done and figured out what I had to work with, is I wanted to put a loop of flyer over here on like a trestle type of system. And I was thinking about doing the same thing over there with O27, but I've got that loop right now, so I'm fine there. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that or put any accessories on here until I get like the shelving built, because that's just more crap to move and get broke. So I have to knock them shelves out here soon before I get too far ahead of myself and get them populated, because I don't want to keep crawling over the stupid table. And yeah, I think that's it for now.